technical option trader thing. So today we're going to talk about some of the trades I took today, starting off with SPY, a ROKU, and a small position in Google. So I'm going to talk about a couple things, and I want you guys just to bear in mind. It might be really fast. I apologize for that. So if we look at what's been going on in the market, I always look at the bigger picture, going to daily time frame, and then I zoom into the 1 hour time frame, right? And based on the time frame, I use current support and resistance levels. For example, this is a good resistance level for me right here, which is why I have this level marked, right? So it's important to know where the price could reverse to, because stocks move in waves, or the market moves in waves. It doesn't just move, right? So you have to bear that in mind, right? So I know, for example, this is an important level for me to watch, right? So if I know that, I'm not going to get too carried away, even if a certain level does come, right? So I know this level is important to me, so I'm watching this as a 5-minute time frame. I was watching this level, but I trade and I scalp. I'm not a long-term trader. I am a short-term scalper. So if you look at this idea that I have here, so what I did was right in the morning, I noticed where my levels were. Okay, so when I looked at my levels, I knew the resistance level was here. Market found support here because previously, if we go on the 1 hour time frame, this is where the market consolidated and it reversed from, right? So it makes sense, if there's actually buyers sitting here, they would come in and they would defend that level. So it did. So that's a good sign. However, so when I woke up in the morning and I started trading and I saw that, I took a quick scalp because the price closed above the VWAP right here. And then I saw this buying pressure come in, and as you guys can see, the green volume was rising. So I took a quick scalp and I got out because I knew this is a resistance level. So what I wanted to see here ideally was that price to either consolidate or price to just kind of push higher. So what could have happened here was at this level, the market could have tested this way, and it could have pushed here, right? But I always take my profits early, wait for the consolidation, which it was doing, to see if it's going to push or if it's going to fail. I don't like to speculate. I like the price to show me which way it wants to go, right? So since it failed, it was a good thing that I did wait. I wait for the cross here to get above the opening range here to see if it comes to the opening range and it starts to bounce. So this is a 15-minute time frame here. It's a 15-minute opening range here. So this was a time frame where I wanted to see what would happen here, to see if we would kind of get a test and push above it, because sometimes it does test the opening range and then continue to move in that previous direction. But if I go on the hourly time frame, I can clearly see that there's a strict trend line that's in place right here. So which is the downtrend line, right? So the trend is down right now, and it's continuing to stay down, it looks like. And what I want to see is price defeat this level and get above it, right? Until they can get above it, there's no reason for me to change my thesis. It can go sideways from here for sure, but in order for that to happen, in order for the price to continue to rise, we need 435 to take it out to 442 taken out, right? So even if, so that's what I was looking for on the upside. But as you guys can see, it crossed below. When it got below VWAP, I took a trade to the downside, right? So below VWAP, below the 5-day, and my exit was right about here. Because whenever the price closes above the 5-minute, if I'm taking a put position, I exit, then I wait. Because what's going to happen is the stock will always pause before continuing higher, because buyers and sellers will determine in a fair market if we're going to go higher from here or we're going to go lower from here. As you guys can clearly see, this is an area of where the price started to accumulate or distribute, whatever you want, the way you want to look at it. So I saw the price was settling here, and then I saw this was a support level where the morning it tested this low and it pushed from here. So I want to see if this low is broken. As you guys can see, these candlesticks are very, very thin. This low got broken here. So my simple analogy was when I took my position here below the opening day low, okay, on a 15-minute, I will close this if the price action closes above the 5-day, so which was right here, right? So I took a small play right here, then price continued to the downside, and I waited. I'm like, you know what, we'll see how much it can go lower, right? Because this is the previous supply zone. Remember, I showed you guys this before. If we go into the hourly, this is a demand zone. This is where buyers are sitting. So if it gets into the zone, sellers are going to have to outweigh the buyers, and the market will determine if this is going to be broken, which is 420. So I didn't continue to chase. I just waited. And then also with Biden coming on and speaking today about sanctions with Russia, obviously volatility, fear was increasing. So I wanted to sit on the sidelines, but I caught two moves here to the downside very nicely. So right now the market's still open. We're starting to see a bounce here. I will not trade. So when a market reverses like this, I don't trade unless it gets above the VWAP and we get some strong push with volume. So right now, as you guys can see here, this is a strong volume here candle. This is a nice move here. We want to see if we can get some sort of continuation and maybe get above this downtrend line here. So the other trade that I took today, like I mentioned earlier, was Roku. Roku, same concept here, right? Looking at the bigger time frame, Roku had a massive sell-off. Whenever a stock trades in any kind of way, right? So if it's a downtrend line, we already know there's going to be pullbacks, and so right now it's having a nice pullback. There's a gap here. It can easily fill that, and you can just mark that level, right? So the gap fill level is right about here, 139. So it looks like Roku wanted to go for that right in the morning. So right in the morning when the market opened, I saw, this candle was strong. The opening 5-minute candle was strong as well, above the 5-day EMA, above the VWAP. I took the trade here and I let it ride until we got a close below the 5-day. There was no close below until the 5-day, until all the way up here. So, which was a good trade for me, right? So when I'm doing this, I'm following this all the way through. So I have a plan. I'm going to exit. So if this failed, it would have failed right below the 5-day early and I would have exited. That's no problem. It can happen at any time. Because you guys can see here, if I got in here, close below came here, and I exited quickly, probably at a break-even point or even at a small loss. But today I made a huge gain on Roku, right? So this is simple strategy, right? Above the 5, above the VWAP, close when the first candlestick closes below. So not the wick, not that it touches, but it closes. So that's my confirmation that I'm going to exit the trade. So now I already have a high level here. So I already have a level marked here where it's the daily high right now. We're right about here. So we want to see what it does tomorrow, right? So these are the two trades that I took. And the other one was Google. Similar concept here on Google. Unfortunately, I did not catch this move to the upside because I was watching SPY, S&P 500. I did catch the move on the downside though, at the break of this resistance. Looking at the VWAP was here, the resistance was here for Google. This is the previous demand zone that I have marked. Okay, so I had an alert that triggered, so I knew there was a lot of buying here. If this breaks, we can test this level at 25.68 and we can go all the way down to 24.91. So the fact is, so this is a good risk to reward trade that I had set up. I took it and then I quickly noticed that, the price action wasn't that great. I got stopped out right about here, probably for about a $75 to $100 profit. And that was it on my option. So now I recovered here. So overall, this is my strategy, right? Opening range combined with EMA and the VWAP. All right, so these are some trades I took today, and they helped me out in making it a profitable day.